This is art, people. Hey everybody, it's your girl Rosalie. Welcome back. Welcome to the Ultimate World Music Reaction channel, all about music and psychology. We're growing, expanding. I'm trying to bring you the best video, audio quality. Thank you for your patience when it's not always perfect, but let me know in the comments below what this looks and sounds like. I'm so glad you're here. I'm learning as I go. Before we dive in today, I want to say something real quick. Be encouraged. If you're working on something right now, y'all know I like to encourage you. If you have a project right now, keep at it, refine your skill, keep going. I'm learning as I go, and if you watch some of my first videos, go check those out if you like. I think you'll be able to see how I've learned, how I've grown. Obviously, the studio setting, audio, and video has changed, but I'm learning, and I think that's all that we can do. So keep going, whatever you're working on. Create. You are made to create, so don't just watch this. Be encouraged today to go do something. Be a producer, not just a consumer. But let's dive in. That's my word for the, I don't know, whatever day this is going to be released. Let's dive in. I'm trying to get through the last few lists, the last few requests on the list of things you've submitted on Patreon and on Buy Me a Coffee, and then I can open up requests again. I put it on hold because it was just, the list was too long. You were waiting forever for your request to be released, your suggestions to be recorded and released. So we're almost there. But I'm excited because I have different opportunities. So if you want to buy a coffee and you want to make a suggestion, check out the information on Buy Me a Coffee with details on what you need to do to get your suggestion in. And if you know a band or an artist who's trying to promote their work, looking for a channel to spotlight their art, their music, let me know. Reach out. Check out my email address and the About section on here on YouTube. I got special packages specifically for artists and bands. Buy Me a Coffee is not the place to submit those requests. I got specific offers for you. So if you know somebody or you're in a band yourself, let me know. Okay, today I want to check out a request. Shout out today goes to Dave. Scardust, not Stardust. Scardust. And I want to check out their song Concrete Cages. Already super intriguing title. They are from Israel, featuring Israel/Palestine. I usually mention both because I want to acknowledge both sides and people in that land. But this is an Israeli band, and they have a special guest musician on this track, Concrete Cages, Patty Gertie. Now, Patty is from Germany. Her real name is Patricia Büchler. I love, by the way, when you give me extra information, you guys. Thank you, Dave. Video features the Hellscore Choir, which is conducted by Noah. And besides Scardust and their own music, they also have appeared on other artist albums, including Arion. Okay, we won't talk about the lyrics yet. Dave mentioned some thoughts on what he thinks the lyrics are about, but I'm going to let you listen, make your own opinion, and we'll see. Are you ready? Without further ado, let's dive straight in. Subscribe, check the links in the description to support, to get connected, to get some merch, and if you want to subscribe to these artists and support them too. Let's check this out. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna start over. Oh, I have goosebumps. Guys, Hakuna Matata. Now that instrument this beautiful lady is playing is called a hurdy-gurdy. Isn't that a funny name? It's a string instrument that produces sound by a hand crank turned rosined wheel rubbing against the strings. The wheel functions much like a violin bow, and single notes played on the instrument sound similar to those of a violin. There's also a feel of it that reminds me of bagpipes to a degree, but sounds similar to a violin. Oh my goodness, they're expensive because it's a very complex machine. And it is a full-fledged musical instrument, easy to play dancing melodies from folk to modern. And what else? Where did it come from? Hurdy-gurdy. This is a funny name. Where is the hurdy-gurdy from? I want to see some origin on this, and then we'll start over. Generally thought to have originated from fiddles in either Europe or the Middle East, like the rebab instrument, sometime before the 11th century AD. The first recorded reference to fiddles in Europe was in the 9th century by the Persian geographer Ibn Kuradajbi. I'm not sure. Okay. And it's interesting because when you look at old paintings, even here from the 13th century, it looks like a large two-person instrument, and then it was reduced in size. Okay, we are gonna start over, but beautiful lady here. That's Patty Gurdy playing the hurdy-gurdy. That's just cool. And yes, already this setup is like goosebumps, and the setting and nature adds to that Celtic and Viking and Scandinavian vibe. I'm gonna list all of it because I don't want to have comments going, it's not Viking, it's Scandinavian, or vice versa. It's all over the world. Beautiful. All right, let's start over. And can we just say, I love the fact that she has these elf looking ears. I mean, it just really adds to this beautiful, mystical, fairy tale like, enchanting forest vibe. And it's called Concrete Cages. Keep that in mind. All these little details, man. When people create music and art and they pick details for the music video and their outfits, it matters. All right, let's start over.
Predators roamed in the wild. We were fragile like a child before we tamed the land. Many have died on the tries. Many have looked into danger's eyes, wanting to survive. Others have cried in defeat, but it's impossible to beat the will to stay alive and keep the fire lit. Like a bird, we grew wings to glide. Building dams, we have turned the tide. Stopped abiding by nature's ties. Now we rise beyond the skies. Will we bring our own demise? In concrete cages, the fire rages. This is a sign on the wall of a skyscraper standing tall. We have claimed it all. Now we can shout.
Let me pause for a second. Yo, guys. Ooh, okay, there's so much. I'll keep going. Noah Grumman. This lady is beautiful and has a phenomenal voice. It is so amazing. She's a classically trained singer, choir conductor, and international lecturer and workshop instructor for choirs and singers based out of Israel. And I love the fact that she's singing with this German, another beautiful artist, Patty Gurdy. That's beautiful. That in itself, because of political past and the horrors of history, is beautiful. That's one of the reasons why I love Israeli musician, singer, songwriter, composer Idan Reichel, who works with people from all over, Arabic, Palestine, Ethiopia, like just crossing borders and stereotypes and political dividers, if you will, to bring people together for music. I think that's powerful and beautiful, but that in itself is special. These ladies complement one another so beautifully. The timbre and texture of their voice, The strength is such a beautiful marriage here, beautiful combination. Noah, there's this strength in her voice, this just it was there was this unique timbre and texture to her voice the second she started singing. You can tell she is trained. She knows what she's doing, and they're just having fun. Patty coming in with her unique voice, also a very strong voice, so talented in how she plays the hurdy-gurdy, which still funny to me, the name of that instrument, but she's just going at it so fast as she's turning the wheel, which really also requires coordination as you're turning this wheel to create the sounds and just playing the different notes, just going crazy on it. Beautiful voice, so skilled and trained as well. And just super proud that she's from Germany also. And she's from Rattingen, Germany, born 97. And singer, songwriter, vlogger. But then they come together with this beautiful song, the strings, that whole, is it a quartet? Yeah. The whole quartet coming in, really adding a lot of color to this masterpiece. And then the choir. Hellscore is a choir that is from Israel, also based in Israel. Combination of the quartet, the choir, these ladies, the different musicians on the instruments, not to take away from them, is just this crazy combination that builds such a track that goes from classical music to just full on heavy metal, that rock, that is powerful. We won't even talk about the lyrics. And I have a couple of thoughts that I want to share with you, but I'll say them in the end. Let's go back a bit. Oh my gosh. Where do I begin? Oh, I was looking around looking for paper so I can take notes. This is art, people. If you're not into metal, rock, I totally understand. I used to not listen to metal at all. I had no idea there's various subgenres, no idea how closely it's tied to classical music. To me, this is art, and I think all of you out there who really appreciate music in and of itself as a form of art can appreciate this. Even if this is not your genre or your choice of genre to listen to for entertainment or relaxation or motivational purposes, the skill it takes here, this is beyond just, oh, they're good, right? This is, you've taken something, let's compare it to another form of art, painting, right? You've taken it from drawing a picture using different colors and just painting, I don't know, whatever you feel or something that looks pretty, to someone who knows various sizes of paintbrushes, knows the different qualities of paint, acrylic paint, oil paints, who knows the various shades and hues within a color, who just has refined their skill to a degree that there's details that you would only be able to pick up with the eye of a fellow painter or artist. And there's things here I know that I've missed because I don't play instruments to this degree, and I'm not trained to this degree. I'm a singer songwriter. I've released albums and EPs, and I have well, an EP and album and singles. I've sung in bands in front of many people. I sing songs, I write songs, I love it. But this here is masterclass. The way they were going at it, shredding at these different instruments, taking their turns. The bass. The bass. Oh my goodness. That is one of the most amazing bass solos I may have ever heard. Now, you guys know me. I'm not quick to be like, oh, the best, because there's so many different things out there that are really good. But this was phenomenal. The electric guitar shredding at it like his life depended on it. Then the keyboardist. I mean, just the musicians here carried this track beautifully. The drums just going at it like, oh my goodness. The ladies, I already spoke on them a little bit. Their voice, a beautiful complementation between the texture and timbre of both of their voices. Noah, Irma Gerdness. Oh my goodness, those high notes she hits. You can tell that classically trained operatic element. And then Homegirl would have moments where she would switch and growl. I mean, that takes skill to do that without ruining your voice, to do that professionally. You know techniques. You know how to use your diaphragm and your voice box and those vocal cords and interacting the production of sounds with breathing. Just wah. Patty Gurdy, same thing. In her own way, just another beautiful texture of voice that just complemented each other. The cinematography. Oh, no. Let me keep talking about the music. The choir. These people are good. Oh, they're good. And they carried this so beautifully from that song, from the elements that were sung in unison to the different harmonies. Talented singers. The quartet that came in beautifully. The strings to me, y'all know we're about psychology and music. Strings to me really add, when it comes to painting a musical masterpiece, they add a lot of color. When it comes to an emotional response, to me they add a lot of emotion. They can add a lot of either drama and intensity. They can create and add to sadness that is evoked in the listener. They can they can add to anger. Now, every instrument is essential and plays a part, but the sound of strings to me is just absolutely beautiful and really adds an important aspect to showcase this composition and to underline what they're trying to say. We'll talk about the lyrics in a second. The lyrics being about concrete cages and taking place, starting in nature, was already a very well done detail. They started in nature, looking beautiful, very metalhead vibe. Speaking of stereotypes, right? Black attire, got a little bit of that gothic vibe going. Long hair, neck, choke holders, and bracelets, all just blending in beautifully in nature, surrounded by trees, really giving off a beautiful Celtic vibe. And then it switches back and forth between nature and the concrete jungle, if you will, right? The buildings in the background, this choir up on what could have been a rooftop of some building, and the band back and forth between those two settings. And then the way they did that, the way Noah transitioned from the forest to where the choir was behind in the backdrop of buildings when she put their hand towards the camera and then transitioned to that concrete area. That was unique. That was very well done. This was released 10 months ago. Very relevant to what people often do on social media, these TikToks and reels where they do something or wear something and then they put their hands in front of the screen. In front of the screen. I'm so excited I can't speak. In front of the screen, and now they switch into a different outfit or setting. That was neat. And then when Patty Gurdy transitioned from nature to the concrete jungle, just it started her hurdy gurdy starting to spin the wheel, rotate the wheel so quickly, and it transitions. And then both having changed outfits now from that more earthy, tribal, Celtic, you know, attire, the leather and that metalhead vibe, to now looking very corporate, right? Beautiful blouses, colors, elegant, beautiful, but going from nature to corporate, if you will. So that, just as a side note, was interesting in the video. This is a page in the diary of a world that was chaos and void. Interesting because it paints this storyline picture, right? I mean, many of us are intrigued. At least maybe I am. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments below. When you hear a story that starts with Dear Diary or a page in a book, right? It's like, oh, story time. A world that was chaos and void, right? This Genesis 1 speaks of the world was void. Before we came about, predators roamed in the wild. We were fragile like a child. Before we tamed the land, many have died in their tries. Many have looked into danger's eyes, wanting to survive. Others have cried in defeat, but it's impossible to beat the will to stay alive. Interesting, right? Talking about how humans have come about and how we have come from nothing and from that void and chaos in the beginning, so to speak, and how humans have tried to conquer the wild and have both either conquered and stared danger into the eye or have been defeated and died. It's impossible to beat the will to stay alive. Very interesting. There's something in us humans that wants to survive and keep the fire lit. Interesting because earlier it speaks of fragile like a child, speaking of crying in defeat, right? This parallel or comparison between victory and fighting and childlike innocence and exposure, if you will. Like a bird, we grew wings to glide. Building dams, we've turned the tide. Oh, interesting wordplay. Building dams, we've turned the tide. Haha, get it? Stopped abiding by nature's ties. Interesting. Things are switching now. Now we rise beyond the skies. Will we bring our own demise? So went from we're trying to survive in the wild to now we have learned to fly. We've learned to glide like a bird. We're building these dams, turning the tide. We're switching it up on nature. All right, we're on top now, if you will. Stopped abiding by nature's ties. So now it's gone to the other extreme where we're no longer following nature's rules and abiding by said ties. We are rising beyond the skies, right? Sky rises, buildings, airplanes, rockets. We're going higher and higher. Will we bring our own demise? Posing this question. In concrete cages, writing history's pages. Back to the beginning where it spoke of the page in the diary. In concrete cages, writing history's pages. Throughout the ages, we all belong in concrete cages. Interesting. Is that maybe this idea of, because of what we're doing to earth and nature, and how we moved from nature to this concrete cage and jungle. We belong in a cage now. There's a fire that rages and it's contagious to move along. Maybe again this reference to that drive, that will to survive within us. We want to survive, we want to thrive, we want to expand and evolve. But it's this fire that rages, and like fire, which is also one of those things that was a important first discovery for mankind, right? Fire now rages because it leads to destruction, where it was a discovery that brought life and light and warmth and survival, now as a weapon or to cook your food. It's turning into something that rages. And when fire rages, now it is no longer safe. It destroys, and now we're at the mercy of it. This is a sign on the wall of a skyscraper standing tall. We have claimed it all. Now we can shelter the weak. We can find anything that we seek, but we know if the land could speak, it would cry, for it's barren and bleak. The earth is worn, we left it torn. I mourn for all the souls unborn. Oh, worrying about the future. What will all those unborn have to deal with? What are they being born into? What are we doing to our earth? A song that causes great, if we're willing to, reflection on what's happening. Like a bird, we grew wings to glide, and then it tags and repeats and goes back to the refrain. In concrete cages, writing history's pages. And it does that again, and it tags, and in the end, even in the outro, again, it says, in concrete cages throughout the ages, the fire rages and it's contagious. Interesting, well rhymed, right? I mean, easy fitting rhymes, but fitting words were chosen here to convey that message. And that's interesting because that survival to thrive and grow is contagious in and of itself, but so is that fire that we're now causing that's leading to destruction. Interesting lyrics, beautifully presented. I am confused as to why they only have as many subscribers as they do. We have got to fix that. Make sure to check out the link below. Subscribe to Scardust if you like this and if you want to support this band and these ladies. Check out the original video. Let's get those numbers up. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. And I will see you on the next ride. Ayo!